Yo! We're getting our bossa nova on. Feel like I'm wearing a white suit by the pool. Southern California. Or Monaco. Or some other sunny place with beaches. Jay Shorn, what up, man? I rang? Yes. I mean, in as much as I set up a thing for you to come watch the stuff. I need to buy that Vista Pro. Do I have money? Sort of. See, I could sell that. I'm really not even using this either. Probably sell that. Actually, yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to upgrade. Then we'll do like a triple nozzle. Which one's this? Turbo nozzle? Yeah, we need that. Adaptable. Nah. The adaptable is kind of useless to me. But I'm gonna take that Vista Pro. You want it? You want what? The adaptable nozzle? Why? I have not used it a single time this entire game. I've used all the other stuff at least a couple times. But I've literally never once used the adaptable nozzle. Really? It's just another thing to have to cycle through every time I want to change nozzles. Well, come on, Jay Shorn, sell me on it. Why do I need the adaptable nozzle? Scroll mouse to change spray width. I'm not playing on a mouse. This doesn't apply here. What else you got? I don't know the control that. Well, fair enough. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it for now. It's not going anywhere. If we change our minds, we can go back to it later. But for right now, we need to get into watching a solar system exhibit. Apparently, man, I really did not pay attention at all. I need a PlayStation style controller for Xmas for my PC. Why not just use a PlayStation controller? Before I bought this, I was using a PS4 controller. And also the PS5 controller works natively in Windows. So you don't need a PlayStation style controller. You can literally just get a PlayStation controller. Wife has that nasty micro box. You mean an Xbox? Also, why you hating, man? Video games is video games. Xbox, PlayStation, PC, they're all just video games, man. I mean, honestly, they're hardly even that different anymore either. Like legit, Xboxes and PlayStations have become just little computers for playing video games. It's not like it used to be, man. Used to be that game consoles were, you know, highly dedicated devices with a specific purpose. And that usually meant a smooth experience that could be repeated successfully because of a consistent ecosystem. And unfortunately, that is hardly the case anymore. My daughter helped me clean this map. Nice. Yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to what map we were doing tonight. I just we finished up the last one at the end of the last stream, so I was like, all right, well, calling it there, and then I got busy. I had an event last weekend. Actually, I had 2 events last weekend. But yeah, we haven't seen each other in a week, which feels weird because normally I stream more often than that, but I got super busy over the weekend with my last 2 events for the year. There is a small possibility that somebody might book me for a New Year's thing. That I'm still kind of working on that, but you know, if it happens, cool. If it doesn't happen, honestly, I don't care. Like I care, like you know, if they need me, I'm gonna go do a good job, right? Because I do care about doing a good job. Especially like that's the thing about being picky about your clients. Like I'm very picky these days about my clients, and so if I book a job, I'm gonna do my best to absolutely kill it for them. But funny thing about that, I don't like working on New Year's, and I've been pretty vocal about that. So like, if this particular client books me, like then we'll do a New Year's thing, and you know, I'll do a good job for him. But if it doesn't happen, then I'm perfectly okay with staying home and watching movies with the wife. Daughter helped me. Got an interview tomorrow. Would be rough on my sleeve for the next term, but it's a job. I mean, I'm glad you found something. An interview for something. Can you change accordingly to? Can you charge accordingly for the New Year event? Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that's the thing. I don't like working on New Year's as it is. So if I do agree to go work on a New Year's event, like you best believe I'm charging New Year's prices. That's the best part about working for yourself, which I mean, I've been DJing for myself for many, many, many years. So like, if you needed me for a thing that I didn't want to do in the first place, what's the phrase? Yesterday's price is not today's price. I think is how that goes. Anyway, what's up with this job, man? You said you got a job interview. Tell me about it. What's the job interview? I also have some work stuff kind of that I'm working on lining up, but it's all very hush hush at the moment. Can't talk about it. So tell me about your thing instead. Clean room bonding lead technician. Well, see, now you got me at a loss because I have no idea what the hell that is. Sounds important. As long as it pays good, I guess. Snowhole rejects, how the hell are ya? Glowing down laser optics? Oh shit, okay. That's cool. Hope y'all are doing well. Snowhole's still at work. It is still the holiday season, so that's to be expected. Speaking of Snowhole, how goes your holiday season? Oh, figuring out cash is short. Oh, dang. Okay, well, maybe I'll just let you work on that. Then I'll stop bothering you for a second. I love how you come into my stream and then I'm like, here, let me stop bothering you. That is very stupid. Holiday season is slow and annoying as fuck. Yeah. Wait till next week. I'm canceling next week. Wait, are you canceling Christmas? This is supposed to be a chill stream, and you're coming up here in here to tell me that you're canceling Christmas for everybody? Hey, everybody, no more Christmas. No whole set, so. It's now official. It's been canceled. Retail Christmas, not actual Christmas. I don't want to go to hell. I don't think that's how that works, but okay, sure. I mean, is any of that how that works? I thought retail was hell. You know what? I have to admit, I have had a couple of relatively positive retail experiences, all things considered. I'm not saying my entire experience working at Toys R Us was perfect and peachy. Like there were some issues. Same thing with Guitar Center. Like there were a few things that maybe I'd have done differently, or maybe I'd have changed about the experience if I had my choice. But overall, when you go to work at a music shop or you go to work at a toy store, in either case, it's real hard to go to work mad when you work at a toy store or a music shop. Like there's retail and then there's retail. You know what I'm saying? So like gun to my head, yeah, I'd say I have had a couple of positive retail employee experiences over the years. Now, mind you, that was many, many years ago. And I'm grateful to be in a position now where I don't have to go to work at retail places. Because holy shit. Someone's like, so, my lovely wife is over on YouTube. She said something about wanting to make cookies or wanting cookies, but not wanting to make cookies. And now all of you on Twitch are thoroughly distracted, which is kind of how that goes. I start a stream and do all the work. My wife comes in and says one damn thing, and now you all are obsessed with what she said. Figures. You do all the work on the stream? I do, yeah. What are you talking about? Also, I don't know if you're reading the chat, my dear wife, but the entire 2 out of 2 people on Twitch are requesting cookies. Spice cookies, let's go. Chocolate chips and a can of pumpkin. I had a recruiter reach out to me. Oh my God, now I have to go to the store again. You had me last time with the pumpkin. I had a recruiter reach out to me Monday. A recruiter for what, Snowhole? What's going on there? Are we all just getting new jobs or what? Recruiter from a mega bank? Interesting. And how did that conversation go? I don't want to tell you how to live, but that sounds like a fake bank. You know, you could log into Twitch and come join the conversation over here. I got to the first round of interviews today before slavery. I mean work. Okay, so recruiter hit you up and you did the first round of interviews today. And what kind of position are they looking for over at Mega Bank Corp? Also, I don't want to know the real name of the bank, so I want to just refer to them as Mega Bank or Mega Bank Corp from now on. I think that's absolutely perfect. Employee at one of their people-facing locations. Oh, interesting. Wait, so hang on. So they're using recruiters to find people to fill in-person roles because nobody wants to work in person anymore. Is that what's happening? I'm kind of making some logical jumps here, so like feel free to correct me if that is not the case. I might have applied over the weekend. Gotcha. Okay. So the holiday retail thing is not working for you, huh? Was this from one of those foreign call centers? Now, Jay Shorn. They have call centers here in the States too. I used to work for one. Actually, the pay was kind of shit, but aside from the shit pay, that was like one of my favorite jobs I ever had. I worked at a call center that had a contract with Microsoft for doing Xbox support, which was pretty sick. I got to be like an Xbox support guy, and we got to play with Xboxes a lot, and not all day, every day, but like we got to play with them a lot, and had a lot of inside access and knowledge to the Xbox ecosystem, which was pretty cool. I get a lot of the call centers. I almost got the job to find out they were taking $12 an hour off the top of the position. Ooh, no, that's not okay. From their HR office, I'm being vague since Switch doesn't want to know the actual name of the company. I mean, if you want to share, that's up to you. I'm not gonna like penalize you for sharing your details. I just think Mega Bank Corp is funny, but it's not that serious, man. Like, you know, it's your life. And this is just the internet. Everything you post here is completely safe and between us. Nothing that goes on the internet ever gets like read by people. Certainly not on this stream. I don't have viewers. I'll call it the Samuel L. Jackson credit card and bank company. Oh, funny. Oh, that's funny. Now, what's the 3-digit code on the back of your card? Y'all are silly. Y'all are just silly. Snowhole 666. Is it really 666? Like on the list of possible 3-digit numbers, 666 is a possibility. So like somebody out there has to have a credit or a debit card with that as their security code, right? Unless it's kind of like it's like the 13th floor superstition thing where hotels just don't have a 13th floor and maybe credit cards like take 666 out of the rotation. No, but I did have a phone number that started with that. It's funny. I'd imagine that would be funny like the first couple of times. And then eventually you'd give somebody that phone number and be like, no, seriously, that's my number. You know, like it would just get so old after a while. It's like when I introduce myself to older people as Switch. And they kind of like look at me funny and they go, "Is that your real name?" I'm like, well, no. My mom calls me Jeff. You can call me whatever you like. I don't care. Yeah, I gotta get down that crack. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Trying to get down in this little crevice. Let's get this cleaned up as best I can. And then I'm going to hit this floor with the circle scrubber. Excuse me. Thank you. Late for dinner. I'll call you Doug. Mrs. Spot. Carl Sagan would approve of this clean job. I mean, let's get the big scrubber out and let's go to work. Oh man, that's coming right up. This is easy stuff. A Ball would be so happy if he was here right now. I'm pulling out the circle scrubber just for him. He's not even here to appreciate it. You know how many donuts I did on this floor? What do you mean by donuts? You lost me. Pick a line and walk all the way around. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Well, you know. I'm trying to put the circle scrubber to use as best I can. Although, actually. Now you kind of got me thinking. Maybe I'll take that route. Just do this for a little while. Sounds kind of satisfying, actually. There we go. Wrong way, left turns only. Snow hole, that's NASCAR. This is not NASCAR. NASCAR is over. Oh, the thing with Michael Jordan. How'd that go? What happened? Did they win? As a lifelong Blazers fan, it feels a little weird to be rooting for Michael Jordan, but in this case, I'm kind of down for the cause. Tell me Michael Jordan won against the NASCAR owners. Johnny Morris of Bass Pro Shops called out NASCAR in public, and the next day NASCAR and MJ settled. MJ and company got most of what they wanted out of NASCAR. They fucking settled. Oh. The problem, so I don't know what the terms of the settlement were, but usually the way that stuff goes, settling out of court means that they have to sign an agreement basically saying that they won't talk about it, which is rough, because like the amount of financial damage from the payout is nothing compared to the long-term damage of basically being found guilty of screwing over their drivers. And now it means that any driver that actually wants to get paid what they're owed, because NASCAR has to redo all the agreements with the teams before the season starts. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, my hope is that the payout isn't like the end all, right? Like if you settle out of court, there's a good opportunity there for it to just be essentially a legal hush money payment. You agree to the payout as long as they sign a contract saying they're not allowed to whatever talk about you in public, yada yada, which is often how that goes, but it sounds like this time might be different. The teams hire the drivers. It's the money between the teams and NASCAR that was the issue. Yeah. Well, no, I understand that part. But what I'm saying is, like, any of the teams that like if they don't update their contracts, they don't change the way they're doing business, then more teams could go after them. So, like, I'm kind of wondering, like, what the financials of it look like for them to settle out of court the way they did. Like how bad was this gonna get if they hadn't settled? You know what I mean? I imagine their lawyers are probably like, hey, like, seriously, just pay them. Because this is gonna get worse if we don't. Lawyers don't like admitting defeat like that. I know a lot of lawyers tend to be pretty competitive, but like it must have been real bad for them to settle. Oh, each individual ring is okay. All right. Well, I guess that's how we're gonna do that then. So the contracts are only for teams that have charter, i.e. franchise agreements. You can still race in NASCAR without one, but you make more money with a charter. Okay. You know what I really appreciate about this conversation around this court case? I am learning how much I don't know about NASCAR. Turns out there's a lot I don't know about NASCAR. Car go vroom, driver go left. Like that's kind of the basics, right? But the sort of like how the back end functions. Now they have to fix the point system. That to me sounds like a whole can of worms, though. I'm guessing that's going to be a whole long thing. We did learn that NASCAR lost $50 billion racing in downtown Chicago. Downtown Chicago? Is there a NASCAR track in the middle of Chicago? I don't think I knew that. Or was it one of those things kind of like Formula One does where they like close off the streets? No, that doesn't make sense because I don't know why NASCAR would do that. That doesn't make sense for NASCAR to like close off streets like that. We turned downtown Chicago into a street race course like F1. Oh, you did? Interesting. Okay. Huh. I rather like the idea of NASCAR drivers having to do more of a street style course versus just turning left in a big oval. I feel like there's more to driving than doing laps. Or at least there should be. Now, mind you, I say that acknowledging full well that A, that's just one guy's opinion, and B, that particular opinion is woefully underinformed. So, you know. I would say take it with a grain of salt, but honestly, I wouldn't even take it with a grain of salt. I would just maybe don't take my opinion. NASCAR has always had road courses, but never in a major metropolitan city. Oh. Again, something I did not know. I learned a new thing today. Okay, we're kind of cleaning around the thing. Now we're just gonna keep on moving. This is like really satisfying, just following these lines on the floor. Oh man, that's so good. Going to watch a movie with kids. See you next time, Switch. And so, hey, Jay Shorn, good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in. Good luck with your job interview thing. Hopefully it works out for you. We also learned that you don't insult people if they are close friends to Johnny Morris. Yeah. It's kind of a good rule of thumb anyway to just don't insult people, because honestly, you never know. I've certainly made my fair share of mistakes over the years when it comes to opinions that I've had about specific people, and certainly come to regret it. I've also learned that regardless of what your actual opinion is of a person, people kind of hear what they want to hear sometimes. Hi. I am being I'm being attacked by a sharp toenailed puppy. Okay, yes. Hello, wife and dog. It's okay. All right, here, we're gonna do this. Okay, there's the puppy. Yes, the puppy's getting bigger. Hi. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah. I was waiting on cookies, and instead I got a wet dog tongue to the face. Must be Wednesday. Tenchi says, I'm here. I'm exhausted, but I'm here. Tenchi, what are you doing here? Don't you have a show to do? Or is the show over? Did you do your thing? How'd it go? Finned head? I'm going to assume that you mean finished. Finished, good. Mic problems. Aw, that sucks. But what can you do? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, microphone stuff, especially when it comes to wireless mics, gets real finicky. Cause especially for like stage production type stuff, because those are usually little either lapel mics or like little headset mics that are plugged into a body pack, and those wires are so easy to break. The little body packs are usually wireless, but they have tiny little antennas on them, so it's super easy to like get a lot of crosstalk and interference. Like, honestly, I kind of hate dealing with wireless mics. There's so much that breaks or goes wrong. I'm even dealing with right now. I'm dealing with a problem where my wireless mic system kind of, like, it used to be awesome, and now it sucks because I got a new wireless light controller for my lighting system, and the wireless lighting system conflicts with my wireless microphone, and so now I got to get a new wireless mic system that works on a different frequency, which is another like $400 I didn't really want to have to spend, but here we are. We had an older wireless mic, and then switched to a headset mic, and that was finicky. Yeah. That's how that goes. The songs are beautiful though. Oh, that's good. So it sounds like despite a couple of minor technical things, it was overall a success, which I'm very stoked for you. Congratulations. I know you've been working really hard on that for a while. Now, here's a question. Is that going to be is that the one, like, is it done now? Like, was it just the one show and that's it? Or are you doing multiple shows? Christmas, yes, it's done. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's still mid-December, so I don't know if you had plans to do more or not, but okay, yeah. So you made it. You made it through. I have spring program in May. So you decided not to quit forever then? It must have gone well if you've decided to take on the spring program. Not yet. I'll come back to that. I'm gonna circle around. Well, it's in my job description for the year. Well, that's fair. So you have to at least get through the year and then reevaluate, which makes sense. But hey, you made it through. Sounds like it was a success. And I'm stoked for you. Congrats. I had 2 events this last weekend. I had one on Friday, one on Saturday. And they both nearly killed me. But I'm happy to report that I am in fact not dead. So I am glad for that part. I will say it's not that they both nearly killed me like individually. Like doing them back to back is the part that nearly killed me. I honestly, I don't like doing back to back events like that because like I'm doing the sound tech thing, but I'm also the like anymore. I'm the sound tech, I'm the light tech, and then I'm also the performer. You know, so like I'm wearing so many hats that like it's tough when I'm doing back-to-back events like that. And to be 100% transparent, I couldn't do back-to-back events like that if it wasn't for my incredible wife who tags along and handles, you know, helps me sort of offload a lot of the labor part when it comes to like setting up and tearing down and stuff, so that I can kind of save myself for the performance. And I'm very, very grateful that I have a patient and understanding wife that is willing to help out when it comes to that stuff. Cause like holy crap, y'all, it is a lot to have to try and perform and run an entire event from the stage, and then also have to haul all the gear in and out. You know what I mean? Like it's just a lot. I mean, that's always been the thing. Like that's what it is to be a mobile DJ. You're kind of your own roadie most of the time. But you know, between modern technology and modern equipment, combined with modern like techniques and stuff, like it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. I'll turn this back up. This is a little bit of a weird one because it's got scratching in it, but honestly, this Donkey Kong Country 2 lo-fi album, people are kind of sleeping on it, and it's crazy to me because there's some really good stuff on here, including Sticker Bush Symphony, which is like my favorite Donkey Kong track. I totally used the middle schoolers as a setup and it was helpful. Yeah. That part's awesome when you just make the school, like make the kids do the manual labor part. I really wish there was a way that I could multi-stream to TikTok and Instagram at the same time that I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitch. I only know of one way to do that, but that costs money, and I'm not in a position to deal with that at the moment. Possibly in the near future, though. I just saw something like a thing pop up on my phone, and I was like, man, like I like streaming on Twitch and YouTube, but I really want to be streaming on TikTok too. Like I want to have my bases covered, you know? So this is a solar system. Does that mean that this is the, what do they call this? The asteroid belt? It's like in between a couple of the planets that we have in our solar system. I think it's this like, yeah, the asteroid belt, I think is what this is called. Correct. Thank you, Miss Tenchi. You'd be surprised how often the intricate details of our solar system don't come up when I'm spinning records. It's not a conversation I get to have often. Ask a question, get a teacher answer. All right. Calm down. You're not getting paid. I meant here on the stream. I'm not paying you as a teacher here on the stream. This is the part where I'm supposed to be like mildly entertaining and chill. And I have no idea if I'm succeeding at either of those things right now. But it's fine. How are we doing? That's, you know, mostly good enough. Keep going around this ring, I guess. Why is it? Wait. Why does this planet have a spaceship? What is happening here? I'm just realizing that like this is like a solar system exhibit, but there's something happening here. This look, is this Jupiter? It's pretty big. This might be Jupiter. Yeah. Saturn's the other big one. So I think this might be Jupiter, and I think Jupiter has like a rocket ship. Yeah, Jupiter. Okay. So there's like a rocket ship. Is this Stellaris? What? Okay, yeah, there's something with the lore about why there's a spaceship orbiting Jupiter. We shouldn't mess with Jupiter, especially Europa. I mean, I'm not planning on messing with any of the planets. You're not getting me up there in the little tin can. Although I hear NASA has a hell of a weight loss program. Sir? What did I do? What did I say? Did I do something? Oh, my dad joke? What, the weight loss program? Snowhole, you hang out here every stream. Do not act surprised when I throw out a dad joke. I did think of you last night. Saw a YouTuber recreate John's hat from Red Dead. Yes, but did he recreate John's hat dispenser? It is a subtle but important distinction. Having John's hat is no good if you don't have a dispenser to dispense new hats whenever you lose. Whenever you lose the current one. That's what I need. Honestly, that's what I need. I need like you know those devices that like you load a bunch of like Dixie cups or like paper cups into like a device that's sort of like it's either spring fed or gravity fed, and then you like take one and it pushes the next one forward so that the next person can take one. I need one of those, but for hats, specifically baseball caps. Cause like y'all know I wear I wear snapbacks a lot, right? I've just a huge collection of snapback hats. And so like, I need some kind of spring-fed dispenser of snapback hats. And now I'm curious if there's something like that that's available as a 3D print. Like, could I print something that would serve as just like a big hat dispenser? I bet you I could. By the way, I am super stoked for 2026 because I have some things that are happening. And it's nice to have like a project or two, like, you know, like I remember in years past, I'd be coming up on the end of the year and just be kind of thinking to myself, like, I wonder what I'm going to do next year. I have no idea, but it should be fun to try and figure that out, you know? And now I'm sitting here going, man, I cannot wait for the thing that I'm already planning for next year. It's just a different headspace to be in, and I'm kind of enjoying it. I was in a meeting today with somebody and I was just telling them, like, man, the waiting is the hard part. I gotta wait till after the first of the year to have another series of meetings around this project that I'm working on. But like I was texting with my buddy after our meeting today, and I was just like, man, waiting is so hard. But I have to do it. I gotta wait, because like, if I go slow and take my time, the end result could be very, very worth it. And I'm pretty hyped about that. Do y'all have any plans for next year? Anybody got something cooking for 2026? Besides Tenshi's spring program that she already mentioned? Old age. You just plan on getting older? Speaking of old age, I saw Dick Van Dyke post something really funny. He was talking about how he still exercises pretty regularly. And he tries to maintain a lot of his mobility through exercise because he just turned 100. And he was talking about how, like, in his 40s, he would exercise for fitness. And then in his 60s, he would exercise for mobility. And then basically ever since his 80s, he's been exercising just out of spite. just to prove that he could. Which is such a perfectly Dick Van Dyke type of joke. It's amazing that dude has lived to be 100 years old, and he's still just bumming around, hanging out. Says he wants to play Ebenezer Scrooge, and it's not too late. Which I could be into watching him play Ebenezer Scrooge. especially considering his age and stuff. Like I could see that happening for him. I'm sure somebody would be down to produce something like that. I mean, Dick Van Dyke has already basically sealed himself in Hollywood history as one of the major players. Like, nobody's ever going to deny him that. But can you imagine that guy at 100+ years old, like playing a role like Ebenezer Scrooge and then getting like nominated for it and being the oldest dude to ever get nominated for like a lead role? That would be absolutely wild to see that dude like take on a big role like that at his age and then like, because you know he's gonna kill it. You know that guy's gonna just be amazing to watch as a crotchety old Scrooge played by 100+ Dick Van Dyke. Like, man, that would be so sick to watch. But, you know, like as is so often the case in entertainment, we only know what they show us, right? So it's entirely possible that you know, a guy his age might have something else going on. We don't know. We don't know if they'd be able to put the production together in time. A lot of movie productions now are so slow to start because of all of the financial and corporate hoops they have to jump through in order to be able to put something like A Christmas Carol together. All the different departments and all the different steps to that level of production is just, you know, it takes months just to get to your first day of shooting. But they could do it. I don't know. It is totally possible that they could try and pull off something like that for him before he goes. Because I mean, dude's 100, but like, you know, he's still getting around without a walker and shit. Like the dude's still very mobile and very like physically capable for a 100-year-old guy. Like it's incredibly impressive. Oh, my dog's an idiot. So my nephew rents a room in our house, and my dog Einstein, every time my nephew like comes out of his room to like go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen or like leave the house, or literally anytime my nephew does anything at all, my dog Einstein acts like he had no idea my nephew lived here, even though it's been like literally multiple years at this point. And I think he's just used to barking at him for no reason. We named him Einstein because when we got him, he kind of looked like the dog from Back to the Future. Like not even the same breed, and it didn't look exactly like the dog from Back to the Future. It just kind of loosely reminded us of that dog that played Einstein in Back to the Future. And frankly, we're huge Back to the Future fans, so like it was not a long conversation about his name. But then like, you know, sometimes he does stuff like that where it's like it's almost like the name is ironic. But I gotta give Einstein credit. He's been a very good big brother to our new puppy, for the most part. And what the hell kind of rocket is that? You know what's weird is like usually these kinds of boosters, they get detached. after the lift. Like they do the initial lift to get away from Earth's orbit, and then these boosters usually detach after the lift. So like why they're still attached and still propelling this thing around Jupiter is kind of beyond me. But, you know, science fiction. You're not supposed to ask those kinds of questions. It's special alien technology or something. We're gonna just scrub up the rocket tail here, and then we got to do the underside. Oh, and then I got to get all the way up here. Why is there a gnome up here? What is he doing there? Man, get down there. Not supposed to be up here. Thanks. I've been handed cookies. They look delicious. They smell incredible. And then I also have tea. And the tea is very hot. So we're gonna leave the tea alone for a minute. But those cookies are perfect. Yeah. That's a fantastic cookie. Anyway, I want to share the cookies before I ate them. Okay, Rocket and Rocket Trail have been finished. Oh, I gave up my iSheep phone this past weekend. No more iPhone? Do you have a new phone? What's the new phone? S25 Ultra, nice. Okay. You know what's funny is I've been a Pixel user for a long time. In fact, my current phone is still a Pixel 6. And I really wanted to get into the Pixel 9, and then I didn't. And then when the Pixel 10s came out this year, I was like, okay, this is going to be my year. I'm going to get into the Pixel 10. And then the Pixel 10 came out, and I saw like some of the early benchmark reports and stuff, and like how they kind of skipped out on some of the RAM, and the new processor is just like really not that much different from the old one. And I'm just like, man, like I'm so bummed that Google's cutting all these corners and then relying on AI to make up the difference in their software. I'm not about it. So I think this might be the year that I finally buy a Samsung phone. I've been thinking about it pretty hard for a long time, and I think it might be finally time for me to jump over to Samsung. It also kind of helps that Samsung really isn't pushing their stupid Bixby thing like they used to. Like, they tried to do the AI assisted thing with Bixby for a while. I think they still have that, but they're not as aggressive about it. It used to be like a full dedicated button on the side, and like you couldn't change that button to do anything else. And I think that's been a complaint long enough with their users that they finally just are giving up on trying to shove it down people's throats. It's there if you want it, but if you don't want it, it's not that big a deal. Versus like a couple of years ago where it was like you had to use Bixby or get a different phone. Because the Samsung phones are nice, man. They're nice hardware. I know the manager at the Samsung store. His partner is an employee of mine. So he hooked me up. Okay, that's actually pretty sick too. Wait, there's a Samsung store? Like an Apple store, but for Samsung stuff? Like TVs and smartwatches and phones? And microwaves? And like smart fridges and washer dryer combos? Just mobile and laptops? Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. I always forget Samsung makes computers too. Okay. Let's try that again. Lo-Fi Metroid is such a silly... Like the idea of a Lo-Fi Metroid record is like the idea of it is silly to me, just because like Metroid is such a dark game. So it's like you're making chill versions of the music from a very not chill game. But it kind of works. Kind of works. Okay, so there's Mars. Venus, Earth. We got Mercury. Yeah. Here's a question for the audience. Has anyone seen the new Robin Hood show? I've been wanting to check that out, but I haven't had a chance yet, and I'm just kind of curious if anybody's seen it. It's supposed to be on the MGM Plus app, so I don't know if anybody has that. It's kind of a newer streaming service. But I'm pretty curious. I'm curious about the Robin Hood show because, like, the little bit that I've seen of it, it looks pretty good. And I love me some Robin Hood stories. Like, I'm a big fan of Robin Hood. A couple of books when I was a kid, and you know, I've loved several of the movies, especially Robin Hood Men in Tights. Like, Robin Hood Men in Tights is for sure a comedy film, but like one of my absolute favorites of all time for a whole bunch of reasons, both personal and professional. Wait, hold up. Did I just get a weird error message? What the hell was that? Not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming? Okay. Whatever, YouTube. That's not on my end. Actually, no, I take that back. It might be on my end because we had a weird power outage in the neighborhood. Funny enough, my house didn't lose power, but like 2 blocks south of me, the whole neighborhood lost power for like a good couple miles to the south. So I have no idea if my internet's actually like working up to full speed or not. I've been getting good internet speeds, like better than advertised internet speeds, which has been kind of nice. And I've been trying to utilize that as best I can while I can, because you know, I don't know if it'll always be the case, but Neptune. Neptune, let's go. The base. And then we'll work on the main planet. I think this is the last like planet, and then I have satellite. I've got the sun. I've got the rest of the walls. Like we still have a long ways to go. We're only at 27%. Boy, hey, let me up there. Why are you being like this? Don't be like this. Okay. Where do we go next? I think satellite. That makes sense. Let's take care of this. What is that, the Hubble? What happened? Old Lady Reactions just subscribed. Hey, thank you very much for the sub. I very much appreciate that. Oh. I don't know. I think this is like supposed to kind of look like the Hubble, but I don't think it's the Hubble. I think it's the like in-game like variant. What does it say? Exo, yeah, Stellis. That's the same company that's on the rocket. And escaped from work. Hey. Congrats, Snowhole. You made it out. Okay. That part. I think I got the rest of it. We can circle back to it later if we need to. Next steps. Didn't realize space was so dirty. Oh yeah, space is filthy. There's nothing but space dust up there. Just put that up there for now. I'm going to work on this center bit. We got some little display stuff here explaining the Earth's crust and core and outer core and the mantle. Just don't really know what the mantle is, but it's there. The mantle is under the crust, and apparently there's a section called Jason. That is there's crust, outer core, inner core, mantle, and Jason. So there you go. Based on this diagram, I cannot tell the difference between Tuzo and Jason. Jason Voorhees, no. No. Well, no. No. I don't think so. Well, no. Nah. Then we have a couple of gas giants, aka Saturn and Jupiter. We hope not, and also hope so. No, we don't hope so. Listen, I play Power Wash Simulator to chill out and listen to lo-fi and relax and like hang out with y'all. I do not play Power Wash Simulator to go running for my life from an undead knife monster. That will be in the third installment for Halloween. I mean, they have done Halloween levels like spooky, like haunted houses and stuff. Like the first Power Wash Sim game had like a Halloween themed level where they had kind of a fun haunted house that you could power wash. So like they've done that kind of thing before. But there's no like, you know, it's just a haunted house that you happen to be power washing. Like you're not like you know, racing against the clock or running for your life or anything like stressful. You know, there's nothing stressful to it, which honestly would be kind of the antithesis of this game anyway. Like, the whole point is to not stress when you're playing. You can just kind of take your time and go at your pace, which honestly, I've really fallen in love with this style of gaming where there's no, like, you don't beat it. You just play it till it's done, and you do it at whatever speed it's comfortable for you. You don't have to try and compete. Doppler beaming, disc, photon sphere, event horizon shadow. That is the parts of a black hole. And I'm very curious, like, what all we actually know about black holes. I would be fascinated to find out more. Maybe someday, when I actually like have the time and mental bandwidth to learn some new things about space. We know that we shouldn't go in them. Yes, this is true. Turns out black holes are in fact not for humans at all. Honestly, last I heard, I don't think we can even get near a black hole anyway, because the gravity well would crush us to death before we got to the event horizon. So, like, even if you could go near one, you'd get crumpled like a tin can long before you actually got inside the thing. I may be mistaken on that, because frankly, as I have made very clear on several occasions, I spin records. I am not science guy. That's Bill Nye. Bill Nye probably knows a lot about black holes. Certainly a lot more than I do. Start exhibit. Turn on floor. I want to clean more of this before I press that button. I remember seeing on a space Reddit that we captured images of two black holes merging. Interesting. Is that Bill Nye the Science Guy? Bill Nye the Science Guy. Yes, that's the Bill Nye I was referring to. He is, in fact, the science guy. I am not. I am DJ Switch, the silly music guy. I play silly music sometimes, and I also play music in a silly way sometimes. And I have on occasion been known to play silly music in a silly way. It is not entirely unheard of for me to be doing that from time to time. So, do with that information what you will. And sometimes there are puppies and cookies. Yes, occasionally I am able to produce the odd puppy or cookie. Although not without help from my darling wife. Who is often the purveyor of said puppies and or cookies. Okay, I'm pushing the button. I'm curious. I want to see what happens. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. The whole dang thing is rotating around the sun. All right, that's awesome. The whole room spins. Oh, that's friggin' sweet. Okay, shoot. I gotta clean this now. I'd like to know where my tax money went if this place was so dang dirty. Dude, they spent so much on the exhibit, they couldn't afford janitorial services. Obviously. Also, how do you know this is your tax money at work? This could have been funded through a private grant. You don't know. If this was federally funded, it was only partially federally funded. I promise you that. They had to take money from elsewhere in order to complete the project. What about state or local funding? I don't know. What about it? It's entirely possible. I got hired to come in here and power wash stuff, so like, I have to admit, I'm deeply unfamiliar with the financial workings of a large scale space exhibit such as this. What? Oh, ladder. I was wondering why I was being lifted up into the sky. It's because I backed into a ladder. Ding. 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 Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay, so we got those sections on the wall. Let's see if we can patch up the rest of this floor. Then we can move on to the sun. It was aliens. It could have been aliens. I mean, we already established that the aliens that I met in the first game, like, left a cell phone in a secret room underneath a 400-year-old church just for me to find. So, like, there is for sure some pretty weird lore going on in this game already. I did make it. I've been talking about wanting to watch a lore drop video on YouTube about Power Wash Sim 2, and I keep putting it off. And I kind of decided at this point that, like, I actually don't want to watch any lore drop videos until I finish the game, or at least like the main section of the game, right? Like once I finish the main levels and you know, kind of work my way through the all the like main stuff, like that's when I want to maybe watch a YouTube video so that I don't have anything spoiled for me and I can just kind of appreciate some of the lore that I missed in the text messages and whatnot. Like, I'm imagining somebody going through all of this and going through all the text messages and like writing out like whole like conspiracy theory murder boards about like all the different ways the characters are connected and all the different conversations and how the conversations are sort of like relevant to each other. I mean, a couple of years ago, both MatPat and Markiplier had like some insane lore drop videos where they talked about all the crazy lore within Power Wash Simulator. Somebody's talking about the Bigfoot stuff, like, you know, like, and it wasn't just parsing out the text messages in between the jobs. Like, They were picking apart little details in the levels and little nods to things, kind of like just outside the boundaries or just off in the visual distance, where like you would skip right by it if you weren't looking for it. But the developers put a lot of little Easter eggs and stuff into the last game, so I imagine they probably did the same thing with this one. All right, let's see. Let's get this stuff cleaned up. And I think what I might do, actually, before I work my way down the sides of the sun here, try to get as much of this as I can from the top. I'm gonna have to go down the sides and kind of like hit it from a lower angle, but that's fine because before I jump down, I actually want to try to hit this ring up here. Maybe hit it with the circular scrubber. All right, yeah, I gotta go finish the sun, but let me jump over here first. And we're just gonna knock this out real quick. Just work our way around the edge. Go nice and slow so we get a good thorough scrubbing. Now I want to watch Third Rock from the Sun. Man. French Stewart. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Hang on. Don't tell me. What is the older guy's name? The bald guy. Dang it, I can't remember his name. And then Kristen something. Yeah, I can't remember the female lead on that show. Yo. Okay. I have not spent enough time. Kristen Johnston, thank you. And John Lithgow, yes. Enjoy cleaning the rest of the galaxy. My eyes are about to fall out. Tenchi, get some sleep. You deserve it. You've earned it. Congratulations on a successful show. This is that Undertale Volume 2 that Save Point just put out a couple months ago. And I have not spent enough time listening to it. It's a really good record, but like, unfortunately, because I'm playing everything off of like a master playlist of all of the Kuraga stuff, it just gets buried under all the other tracks. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just keep chewing away at the center ring here. Oh, don't forget Jane Curtin. Yes, Jane Curtin. I did forget that she was in that show. And Wayne Knight. Okay, I definitely forgot Wayne Knight was on that. But yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, I do remember him on that show. Man, I haven't watched that show in so long. I gotta go back and check it out. Like, honestly, it'd be kind of like rewatching it for the first time, because like I haven't watched Third Rock from the Sun with any like level of seriousness since it was on the air. It's got to be on one of the streaming things, I'm sure. Like, that was a big enough sitcom that like somebody should have picked it up for a streaming service somewhere. Also, every time I think about Jane Curtin, I think about her and Dan Aykroyd and how they used to like shit on each other on SNL. A lot of people forget that Dan Aykroyd was one of the first people to play the role of a talking head news pundit on SNL back in the day. And she would ask like just a perfectly reasonable question, and then Dan Aykroyd would be like, "Jane, you ignorant slut," you know, just completely over the top, ridiculous reaction to Jane's very reasonable questions. My old roommate had a TiVo full of episodes. Nice. Yeah, dude, go back and watch old like Jane Curtin clips from SNL, especially like when she would do Weekend Update. Because watching her segments on Weekend Update and shit, like it was so good. It was absolutely so good. And then of course that was Dan Aykroyd in his heyday. With him and John Belushi and then you had I mean everybody back then. Murray was on for a while. You know, that's where they all met before Ghostbusters was SNL. Except for Ramis. I think Ramis met Murray on Stripes when they did Stripes with Ivan Reitman, and so I think Ramis was like working with Aykroyd on the Ghostbusters script, and then Ramis took the script to Ivan Reitman to get it made, and that's how Reitman ended up directing Ghostbusters. And then they had a role that they were going to originally cast Eddie Murphy for, and then Murphy was too busy doing I think Beverly Hills Cop. And so they ended up casting Ernie Hudson in the Winston role instead of Eddie Murphy, which like to this day, the majority of the Ghostbusters fandom just agrees that like Ernie Hudson as Winston was such a better choice than Eddie Murphy would have been, because Eddie Murphy would have been competing for one-liners and competing for attention with those other guys. And Ernie Hudson grounded the Winston role and kind of made him the everyman, so that as a viewer, we had sort of like an average Joe to connect with that wasn't like a super scientist, you know, because that was the other three were like the scientists. And then you had Winston, who was just like a guy looking for a job, you know, which is even better when you learn later on that Winston becomes this super successful businessman and ends up like funding the Ghostbusters almost entirely out of pocket. in Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Like they're basically being funded by the Zedmore Corporation because of Winston's, you know, experience as a Ghostbuster. That's why I love that character. Yeah, that's why everybody loves that character. Ernie Hudson as Winston is like honestly one of my favorite characters in film, because he's the dude that represents all of us, right? Like that's the whole thing. Man, yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, I don't have to fight with that anymore. What am I doing? There we go. All right, let's get some more of this sun knocked out. Actually, we got a pretty good vantage point from here. We should be able to get most of it that's left, because it's just the stripe in the middle. We got the lower part, we got the upper part. Now we just got to get the middle bits, and I think we can actually just do it from here probably. I'll admit there was lots I didn't appreciate about the solar system until I worked here. Oh, okay. Like, I had no idea that in Earth's prehistory it collided with a protoplanet called Theia. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. I don't know if that's true, but it certainly appears to be the lore of the game. Let's spray down the door. And then I think I want to get the floor, at least in this like entryway. Let's see. Let's knock this out in the corner here. Knock this out in the corner here. And then there we go. Good role model, smart, hard work paying off, then giving back. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I just wish the successful business people in the real world saw it that way. Unfortunately, it's just not the case. We've built a society where anybody that has something is afraid they're going to lose it, and so they do all kinds of very shady things to keep it. Because they can't fathom the idea that money doesn't drive everybody, that some people are driven by other things. Money's fine, but it's a means to an end. I don't live my life to have money. I live my life to have things, and unfortunately, things cost money. It's a middleman. It's a vehicle through which I can accomplish the things I really want in life. I don't want money. I want video games and records and Legos and cars and a place to live and food to eat. Those are the things I want. I just happen to live in a country where money is the way that you get those things. Doesn't mean that I want money. Money is not the goal. Money is just the tool. But that is feeling dangerously close to preaching political philosophy, and that's not what we're doing here today. So I'm going to move on from that conversation before we get too deep in it. My wife had an interesting idea for our family Christmas this year. We usually go over to her mother's house and have Christmas like with her brother and his wife and then their kids. And then like we go and we all have dinner and kind of hang out and spend some like quality family time together. But this year my wife came up with this. I don't think she came up with it. I think she found it and then like found a document about it. But it's this game where you like, everybody brings like a handful of like $5 gifts. And then it's kind of like a white elephant, but with just cheap, like small gifts and stuff. And you just kind of play a game. And then the game is sort of like how you determine like who gets what gifts or who gets to steal or who gets to trade or whatever. Which I don't know a whole lot about it because I'm still kind of like learning the ins and outs of it. But I thought it was an interesting idea. Like the idea of sort of a shared Christmas experience over buying individual gifts. And you keep it cheap. Like you put a $5 or $10 limit on it so that like people aren't trying to break the bank to participate in this thing. It sounds fun. It sounds interesting. There's a little bit of creativity there because, like, especially with a $5 cap, like, what the hell do you get somebody for $5? You know? But there's still stuff out there that's sub 500 or sub $5. That's, you know, I'd be stoked to get on Christmas. So it'll be interesting to see what different members of my family come up with, you know? I'm easy. You just give me $5. That's fair. I think it kind of defeats the purpose. I think the experience is the purpose, not the gift itself. But, you know, my $5 gift is an old film canister in which you open the lid and inside is a $5 bill. You can have an experience. Give me your money. See, now, Snowhole, you should be a content creator. Because that's basically Twitch in a nutshell. I will give you an experience. Give me your money. I just do this because I don't have a radio show, and I like having a chill time playing video games and hanging out with people. So, like, you know, I'm not out here trying to make a living. Honestly, it's probably not going to happen anyway. I'm not young enough, cute enough, or loud enough to make a living on Twitch. But you know, I'm computer savvy enough to stream some shit and hang out with y'all. So, you know, we got that going for us. Okay, that wallpaper is actually pretty sick. I've toyed with the idea of me streaming my playthrough of Atlas Shrugged, the video game. You mean BioShock? By the way, where are you at with BioShock? How far have you gotten? Have you reached Andrew Ryan yet? I've paused, currently reading Atlas Shrugged, the video game, the prequel book. Wait, what prequel book? Like the BioShock novel? Because I know there was like a novel they did, or was it a graphic novel? I can't remember. But I know that there was a book. If I remember right, the book was about like the foundation of Rapture, right? Yeah, BioShock Rapture. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we are on the same page. All right, cool. I never read the book, actually. I think that would be a really interesting read. Because I played through BioShock 1 and 2 not that long ago. Again. But we already had that whole conversation. But yeah, within the recent few years, I replayed the BioShock games. Next to your actual copy of Atlas Shrugged. I mean, Atlas Shrugged is one of those really weird books where if you read it and take it at its face, like, there's some pretty messy ideas in there. But if you read it from the point of view of like understanding that, Ayn Rand had some pretty messy ideas, and you read it just to kind of put some context to those ideas. I mean, I'm sure there's some value to be had there. Personally, I found it boring as shit. I couldn't read it. But that's me. Like, I'm not gonna knock anybody for trying to get through it. It wasn't for me. I mean, 1984 was kind of the same way though. Like, I couldn't get through 1984. I tried to pick it up one time, made it through the first couple chapters, and I was just like, nah, this is way too much work. Ooh. This is the spot. There we go. Go. Keep on moving. Okay. Man, like I can see that I'm making progress, but it's really slow going. What time is it? Oh, it's only after 9. Okay, well, we got time. Hey, Shuyukun, welcome. We are cleaning the solar system. We have an entire room full of planets that we had to clean, along with the sun in the middle, and now we're cleaning the walls. How are the storms in your area this week? So we had a windstorm last night that knocked out power to the neighborhood just south of us, or just not south, west, just west of us. But it's funny because, like, my wife was telling me that, like, the light at the end of our street was fine. And so, like, we never lost power. But then like once you get past that light at the end of our street, it was like every other traffic light from here to the freeway for the next like 2.5 miles was out. So like whole chunks of neighborhoods in my city. I'm in Vancouver, just north of Portland. And yeah, whole chunks of East Vancouver were just knocked out of power. And we missed that section of the grid by like 3 blocks. Shukun, you're farther north, right? Like, you're not in the flood zone, are you? Because I know some of the folks in North Washington are dealing with some flooding. No, I'm on Olympic Peninsula. Okay. So so that sounds like you're safe then. And it's mostly just a little bit of storms, like typical winter storm type stuff. Other side of Puget Sound. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't. I knew a little bit about the flooding up there, but I don't have anybody in my immediate network that's like over on that part of the Puget Sound. So hopefully everybody's okay and that they're getting people out. But I've seen a couple of TikToks that were looking pretty sketchy. It was crazy how far south the storm system was getting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, and I'll say this, having grown up here in the Portland area for most of my life, I will take a windstorm over an ice storm any day of the week. We are not equipped for ice storms. When it rains and then the rain freezes over and everything turns into like a literal ice rink out there, it's and then because it's so frozen, it can't thaw properly, and so then it stays like that for like a week and a half, 2 weeks at a stretch. That's when it gets like real nasty, and it seems like every other year that's been happening to us anymore, where it's like those nasty ice storms that just like that, you know, it'll be a week and a half before it's even safe to leave the house. Of course, we got a new car this last year, so like we need to get new chains for the new car. So that's on my to-do list. Hopefully I can get that figured out before it's too late and we end up needing them and not having them, you know? And then if not the chains, then maybe we could figure out some other solution, but it's just not a good place for us to be. Can't use chains where you live? Why not? Well, you get snow. Like, I'm not talking about driving on soft packed snow, dude. I'm talking about literal ice. Like when I say ice rink, I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking like 2-3 inches of solid ice. We don't get like, we kind of get snow here sometimes, but the snow is very manageable. It's the solid ice where it'll rain and then freeze over, and everything is just covered in a sheet of just thick water, like frozen water. And it's because of our stupid. It's because of our stupid. It's because of the way that our mountain ranges are set up here in the Pacific Northwest. We have what's called a coast range, which is like a smaller mountain range that goes up along the coast of Oregon. And then we have a much larger mountain range called the Cascade Mountain Range that runs up basically through central Oregon and central Washington and all the way into Canada. And what happens is the clouds come in over the coast range and then get trapped by the Cascade Range. And so they just sit in, at least in Oregon. Well, I can't speak to Washington, but I can tell you in Oregon, the clouds will just sit in the Willamette Valley in between those two in between those two mountain ranges, and then just dump water on us constantly. And so like it rains like it. Well, I don't know about these days, because I know the rain has been kind of less and less with the climate change over the last like 20 years. But I remember like as a kid, like it would rain a solid 9 months out of the year here. And it was like either warm rain or cold rain, but it was just raining all the damn time. And then as the climate change happened, like we started getting more warmer months during the summer, but then we would also start getting these ice storms and really nasty like winter storms that would just kind of screw us, because we're just like our infrastructure is not equipped to handle that kind of weather. We're just not used to it. And, you know, again, not to get into the politics of it all, but like they don't want to spend money on, you know, the infrastructure to maintain the roads during those kinds of storms, because those storms happen so infrequently. But then when they do happen, it screws us. So all of that is to say, hopefully my friends up in Washington to the north of me, like Shuyukun, are safe and dry and warm. And hopefully the winter storms won't be too bad for us this year. Like I think I want to say maybe 3 years ago, we had an ice storm and my mom literally got trapped in her house for like a week and a half. Like couldn't go get groceries or anything. My sister had to get into her four-wheeler and like take my mom some groceries. Is pretty nasty. But my mom lives like on a steep hill, and because of the ice, she couldn't drive her car down that hill because it wasn't safe at all. Like at all. I think the atmospheric rivers are done for the time being. Well, as ever, Shuyukun, my hope is that you stay warm and dry, and I hope you're having a good holiday season. Mine's been okay so far. I had my last couple of gigs for the year last weekend, and you know, now I'm just kind of chilling. Like I've been making some plans for 2026, kind of writing some emails, making some phone calls, connecting with some folks, but like for the most part, it's nice to not have a lot to do right now, and just kind of I get to just sort of like breathe a bit and enjoy time with my family. My biggest priority right now, I think, is just making sure that I get all the stuff that I got my wife for Christmas and get it wrapped. Still kind of waiting on some things, but once I get Christmas presents wrapped, then it's just a kind of a waiting game. Mine's been chill. Mostly forgetting that Christmas is just around the corner. Yeah, I mean, shoot, it's the 17th already. We're less than 10 days out. We're like a week out. Huh, I didn't even think about that. A new job is available. We'd like you to return to Detergento to wash one of our historic streetcars. When works. I'll get to it when I get to it, Tessa. I'm kind of busy right now. You'll have to wait in line like everybody else. Although a streetcar level sounds fun. Especially after a big job like this, it's nice to have something easy to break up the monotony, you know? Okay. Got another wall done. We'll do another pillar. Hey, we're almost there, actually. We only got like 1.5 more walls to go. And home, finally. I'm glad you made it home safe, Snowhole. I know these retail hours are killing you right now, but one more week, buddy. In fact, that's what Shuyukun and I were just discussing. Like, we are roughly a week out from Christmas, and then we all get to go back to normal routines and schedules for another year. 2 more weeks. Well, I guess in retail you have the week after Christmas where people come in and spend Christmas money, return gifts, exchange stuff, whatever. So yeah, I guess retail Christmas schedule is a little bit different. No returns, just more spend. Huh. Customer, I got these as a gift and I'd like to return them. Me. Sounds like you and your friend need to have a talk. You guys don't take returns or exchanges? I mean, I admit I don't know much about the product. So like if it's we do, I don't. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Understood. See, I don't know, man. Like I honestly, I don't even remember the last retail job I had. I can tell you it was more than 15 years ago. Was the last like proper retail job I had. So like I have no idea like what's going on out there these days. If you know, there might be a company that doesn't take returns. especially like in the shoe business. If you have like if you do custom shoes or like higher end stuff, like, yeah, a lot of those companies don't take returns because, you know, they end up getting modified and then you can't, like, to the client, and then you can't take a return on a modified piece because who are you going to sell it to? It was made for that person, you know? Okay. That's it as far as the main walls. Let's get this entryway finished up, and then we'll start working our way around the ceiling. And then I've been thinking, I think I want to leave this ring for last. I want to maybe get back up there and see if I can start working on the main dome up there. Because I see some constellations and stuff. Knock those out. All right, so there's the entryway. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start on the ceiling dome. It sounds like a UFC event. Welcome to the ceiling dome. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. Tell you what, I'm going to pause right here for a second. I'm going to go take a very quick break. Y'all enjoy some lo-fi, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Man, the Duke Dome from Duke Nukem Forever. The Duke Dome was just like an updated iteration of the stadium level from Duke 3D. And I am here to tell you, I have some real war stories from that stadium in Duke 3D. Man, my friends and I got real heavy into LAN gaming in the late 90s. We played a lot, and I mean a lot, of Duke 3D, Quake 2. Man, there was a lot of that stuff. Unreal Tournament. I played a lot of Unreal Tournament back then. Still want to read Duke's book? Duke Nukem had a book? Or is it John St. John? The voice of Duke. Why I'm so great? Oh yeah, that sounds like Duke. By Duke Nukem. John St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem, is actually on. He's on social media quite a bit. He's got like a TikTok channel. He's got an Instagram account. And he does the voice all the time, man. Like all the time. It's pretty fun to watch. My agent connected with him somewhat recently. At like a gaming show. Can't remember which one. But that's one of the things sort of on my to-do list for next year as well, is to try and kind of get my YouTube channel back up and running properly. And my hope is that as part of that process, I can continue to do interviews and you know, feature really cool people in the gaming space on my YouTube channel. I was doing it as part of a podcast project, but to be perfectly honest with you, I think I'm going to let go of the podcast format and just make YouTube videos and like hang out with people on YouTube. I mean, that's kind of what Casey Neistat's been doing. A lot of his videos somewhat recently have been like more interview driven. And I think it's interesting because like he's telling other people's stories, you know? And that's kind of what I want to be doing is using a platform like YouTube to tell other people's stories. And you know, occasionally tell a few of my own. But I've been thinking a lot about reworking the way that I go about doing that. And then I started to notice, you know, examples from people that I look up to in the YouTube space and in creator space. Like Casey Neistat is one example. There are others. But examples of people that, you know, make YouTube videos fairly regularly, but then also will do interviews and you know, help other people tell those stories. So it's like use their platform to help, you know, bring attention to other people. That's always been what I wanted to do. I don't want to just get famous. I don't really care about fame. And much the same way that I don't care that much about money, right? Like money is just a tool to achieve the things that I actually want. And so too, I kind of see fame. A lot of people think fame is the point of YouTube. And to me, it's not. It's not about fame. Fame and attention is just a tool to be able to tell a story. You know, in order to tell a story, you gotta have somebody to tell it to. Generally. So like, that's part of the reason why I haven't worked harder on like growing this stream, for example. This stream is fine. I'm perfectly fine with what I'm doing on the stream. I'm perfectly fine with the stream being, you know, the level that it is and hanging out with a lot of really cool folks like yourselves. But, you know, it just sort of is what it is. I'm not out here trying to be a professional full-time streamer. Not really. Like, it would be cool, and I'd be open to the opportunity if it presented itself. Like, if people suddenly were really interested in what I was doing, you know. But realistically, that's just not how that works, and I'm okay with that. I did a little microphone review on TikTok one time. And I said in the microphone review, I was like, look, if you really want a link, I'll give you a link, but like, I don't care if you click on it because I don't sell microphones for a living. I just really like this thing and I want to share it with you. Which that is the attitude that I want to have for any tech video that I ever do ever. Is look, this is not how I'm making my living. I don't care if you click the link or not, but if you want a link, here's a link for you. I just really wanted to share this thing with you because I think it's cool, and I thought you might think it's cool too. That's the attitude. And if that's not the right attitude to have, then fucking I don't care, man. I spin records. That's how I make a living. Spinning records. I make you know, I make content and I make videos because I friggin' wanna. I want to do this. I don't have to do this. I get to, frankly. Like, I'm lucky to be in a position to be able to do this stuff. You know? Wait, what constellation is that? What constellation is what? You're gonna have to narrow it down for me, buddy. There's a bunch of constellations. I don't know which one you're talking about. Also, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely convinced these are real constellations either. Remember, there's like a whole alien subplot in this game. Like there's all kinds of things going on in this game that indicate to me that this is not necessarily based entirely in reality. Dan calls Duke. It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. I don't have the right voice for it. It's close, but it's not right. I don't think I could pull off a Duke Nukem. God, I love that voice. Now, when you say I love that voice, are you referring to my voice or John St. John's original Duke Nukem voice? Because there is a correct answer. John said, yeah, it's that is the correct answer. Not mine. I'm terrible at doing voices. I always have been. I met John St. John in 2010 at PAX. I happened to start seeing this girl, and she had a spare ticket to PAX, and she took me to PAX. And then I ended up marrying that girl. That girl is, in fact, my wife. But literally the first year that we started dating was 2010, and she had a ticket to PAX 2010, and it happened to be the same year that Duke Nukem Forever was bought and then subsequently released by Gearbox. And so John St. John was there signing autographs, and so I got 2 autographs, one for me and one for my buddy Jimmy, who I grew up with, that was the one that introduced me to Duke Nukem. He was like the biggest Duke Nukem fan I knew. And so while I was at PAX, I got Jimmy an autograph as well. And I was super stoked to be able to do that for Jimmy. And so I met John. You know, we only chatted for a minute or two while he was signing the autographs because there was a big fucking line behind me. So I couldn't take too much of his time, but man, what a good dude. Like, he was so nice. And, you know, he threw a couple lines at me doing the voice, like, you know, like it was nothing. I didn't even ask him to do it. He just did it. And I just like, it was super cool to be able to see and hear that in person, you know? And then to be able to like take that second autograph home and meet up with my buddy Jimmy and be able to like bring it to him. It was pretty special. Jimmy moved to the San Francisco area. His wife was in a nursing program down there, and so he moved down there with her and got involved in the tech space. And he's always been like a startup guy. And so he's had a couple of startups that he's built and sold off. But then when he got down to San Francisco, he started working for Tesla for a little while before he ended up leaving Tesla to start up another company in the EV space. And I think his company is doing a thing now where they're like facilitating secondhand EV sales to help kind of like improve the longevity of secondhand EVs for like to keep them out of the landfills and shit. I don't know. It's I'm not 100% sure what all he's doing with his company, but it's something to do with secondhand EV sales and trades. To keep the ecosystem moving for all the EVs that have been coming out over the last few years, upgrades and retrofits and stuff like that to kind of like give new life to these vehicles that were like, frankly, several of the older model EVs are just like outright disposable, which is wild. That we have an entire ecosystem of disposable cars now. Which like AI is pretty bad for the environment, but so is, you know, producing an entire fleet of disposable cars that are designed to be thrown out in 5 years. But I digress. Jimmy also, he and his wife had their first kid a couple of years ago, and so they're doing pretty well. It's always interesting to see your childhood friends like grow up and kind of like start a family and, you know, get on with the rest of their life. But as Blink 182 said, I guess this is growing up. Whoop. Okay, hanging platform pole. We are still kind of like slowly working our way around these constellations. Good Lord. Well, we've almost made it all the way around. I bet you these wall segments, I could probably clear this segment at least, just to see if this if the walls are segmented the way I think they are. Whoop, and I fell. This is fine. Everything is fine. I'm fine. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Okay. So over here, we got this seam here, right? And then everything left of this seam, I should be able to clear this section of wall at least. So I have like a starting point, right? And then I can just kind of work my way around from here. Okay. Got that. Got that. Yep, that is exactly what I thought. That section in between the seams. Okay. All right, let's get this last constellation. And then we got a pole here. Get the hanging pole. See, we're at 79%. Should hit 80 any second. The rest of Thea formed into the moon. Huh. Interesting. Isn't that amazing? Our moon's made from the biggest chunks of a planet that had beef with little baby Earth billions of years ago. I don't know if I've ever heard that before. The rest of it's buried beneath our feet. Okay, there's that section. What But also, I thought it was cheese. Now I'm sad. But also explain why we haven't gone back. We haven't gone back to the moon because we got up there and found out it wasn't cheese. I mean, that tracks. Honestly, I'd be pretty disappointed myself if I got all the way up there to find out it wasn't made of cheese. That was from a cheese dairy commercial in the late 80s, so in the 80s, there was like a cheese / dairy commercial. Oh, you mean that's where the idea of the moon being made of cheese was from the 80s? For some reason I thought it was before that. Was it not? Wait, why is this? Oh, the idea of us not going back because it wasn't cheese. Ah, gotcha. Okay, I understand now. I think I gotta start working my way around this ridge and start working on the ceiling here. Okay. I'll drop the YouTube video in Discord. Nice. You ever go down a rabbit hole of like old commercials? Like, have you ever like looked up old commercials or old TV shows from the 80s and 90s on YouTube? I found a block one time. So I found like a big long, it was like a 3 or 4 hour long YouTube video where somebody had just converted an old VHS tape that they recorded off of like Nickelodeon during Halloween. So it was like Nickelodeon's like Halloween specials. So it was like Halloween episodes of like Rocko's Modern Life and Pete and Pete and all those old Nickelodeon shows. And then in between they had like weird little like call-in contests where kids could call in and then win like some like a super soaker or like whatever, like stupid prize. And then they had like Halloween themed commercials. And then it was like, so it was like the McDonald's commercials where the little chicken nuggets were dressed like Dracula and Frankenstein and stuff. Where what they said then can't be said now. I mean, not every commercial back then was, you know, riddled with latent homophobia and racism. I mean, there were some, but you know, there was plenty of commercials back then that weren't problematic. or people that were in commercials that ended up having issues later on. I mean, I can't speak to, frankly. Like I can't say much about you know, actors who got their start doing commercials in the 80s and 90s and then went on to have tumultuous careers. Oh, interesting. The ceiling has segments too. Okay. Just keep plugging away at it, I guess. We're at 86%. Okay, there's that section. We have this section. An old coworker of mine needed ideas for a script writing class, so I showed him an old commercial and built a pilot for a sitcom around it. What was the old commercial? That's an interesting idea, actually. What was the old commercial, and then what was the like pilot that resulted from that? AIDS diet candy? Oh no. Oh no. No, never mind. Don't tell me about that pilot. I don't want to know. that is a just an entire minefield. No, thank you. No, thank you. It was about the company that makes it. Oh, that's really good. That is really good. That's a really funny idea. I can imagine it being like a, almost like a, like one of those like workplace mockumentary comedies, kind of like Parks and Rec or The Office, but then like a period piece, right? So it's like a workplace comedy set in the 80s. And to be honest with you, that's the thing that I'm surprised they haven't done yet. Like the workplace comedy thing, you know, I mean, right now my wife and I are watching St. Dennis, which is the show about the hospital, and it's, you know, it's a workplace comedy in a hospital, right? And then you had The Office, you had Parks and Rec. There's been so many other workplace comedies. What's the other one that was like a spinoff of The Office, and it even has Oscar in it? The paper, it's like a paper, it's like the like a paper products company. They make like a newspaper. Scrubs. So Scrubs kind of bucked the trend though. Like I gotta disagree with you. I don't think Scrubs is a good example of what I'm talking about, because Scrubs sort of bucked the trend. They played around with they're what's called a single camera comedy, but then they occasionally played around with 4-camera format, as well as a couple of other formats. Scrubs really kind of like, one of my favorite things about Scrubs was that it sort of was what it needed to be to drive home the emotional anchor of the moment. It's called The Paper. No connection to the movie with Batman. Yeah, my wife and I watched The Paper, and it has Oscar and it has a couple of other little cameos from the Office crew. But it's supposed to be the same. The idea is that it's the same mockumentary crew filming a new mockumentary about the paper company that Oscar works for now, versus after he left Dunder Mifflin. Bob Vance showed up in the pilot, which was funny as hell. A couple other people have showed up, but Oscar is like the one main character that's like a holdover from The Office. But yeah, so so that's a workplace comedy where they're doing multiple cameras and it's all handheld and it's kind of documentary style, and and so what's interesting to me is that we haven't really had a workplace comedy in that mockumentary style take place in a different time period. And I understand that part of the immersion is the equipment, the crew behind the camera that's sort of making it happen. But at the same time, I would watch a workplace comedy that's set in the 70s or the 80s. I think it could be funny. Especially the 80s as I remember them, which is, granted, I was a very little kid, but it's pretty boring before the internet, The internet hit off in mid to late 90s. And that's when internet gaming picked up, and a lot of what we were doing with computers at the time sort of reshaped our culture and the way that we consume and process media. Especially those of us that were computer savvy and sort of at the bleeding edge of that stuff. Like my family. My dad literally owned a computer store, so we were kind of at the bleeding edge of a lot of that as it was happening in real time. We had part of a script in which the company made a new product. We had some fun with the name. Oh, God. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Man, I gotta get this finished. We're almost there. We're at 94. Got a couple more sections to do over here. Okay. On to the next. There we go. Yeah. Get that. And then Dome ceiling and hanging platform underside. All right, well, let's do the dome ceiling first, I think. This should do. Totally going to where Jason is for that. I did a little fan film project for an Evil League of Evil application. When the Dr. Horrible thing came out, back in the, you know, early 2010s, I guess it was. The Blu-ray, they were getting ready to release the Blu-ray for Dr. Horrible. And a buddy of mine was like, hey, like wanting to do an Evil League of Evil application. And they were going to feature some of them on the Blu-ray. It was like a contest to get featured on the Blu-ray, like after the post credits or whatever. And so we made ours and we submitted ours. We didn't win, so we didn't get our piece featured, but we were in the credits, and they had different like tiers of like acknowledgement, and we were one of the higher tiers. So like, even though we didn't win, we still got like pretty close, which I was pretty stoked about. And like looking back on it now, right? Like the kind of cameras that I had access to 15 years ago and the kind of editing equipment and the kind of like tools and resources I had access to 15 years ago to be able to make this little fan film. It's pretty rough. It was pretty rough. I definitely have way better stuff now. I got better audio gear. I've got better lighting gear. I damn sure have better cameras now. Not just my cell phone is a better camera than the one I used for that, but like my actual camera, you know, all of that. Like, I mean, hell, I could have probably shot a better project on my GoPro. My GoPro 11 would have run circles around that little camera that we used for that fan film. But, you know, I've also learned a lot, too. I've learned a lot about lighting, and I've learned a lot about editing, and I'd be interested to revisit a project like that or do a similar type of project where we cast a couple of people, make some silly jokes, and be kind of, you know, on-screen cartoon characters. But that was the whole thing. It was this double application of these two people that are like roommates, but they both want to be, they both want to be like supervillains. So you're like applying to the League of Evil to become a supervillain, which was just a stupid concept. But one we had fun with, you know. It was a good time. I was proud of what we did with what we had access to in the time frame that we had too, because like that was the other thing. We had to shoot the whole damn thing in like basically in 24 hours. So we crashed over at my buddy Jesse's house, and we shot the thing, and it was very silly. And then I took it and, you know, cut it up and tried to get something usable out of it. Streetcar, Equinox Boulevard, Detergento. What time is it, man? 10 o'clock. I think this is a good place to stop. You know, we're going on just over a 3-hour stream. I think this is a good place to call it. And, you know, we'll just pick up with the streetcar on Friday. Because I will be streaming again this Friday. We're back to our regular schedule. And, you know, it'll be a little bit before I have to take another Friday off, I think. Obviously, I will let you all know if that changes. But for now, you know, I think getting back into a nice, comfortable routine, not only with the streaming schedule, but also with you know, my event schedule kind of thinning out for the next month or so. You know, I really want to focus on content and stuff. So like streaming, yes, but also my regular YouTube content should be making a comeback here soonish. But hey, with that being said, that's going to be the end of this stream. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on the social things if you haven't already. And if you're watching this on the VOD later, you're also important. And I want to thank you for watching this on the VOD later. Shout out to Snowhole, who's been hanging out with me all night. And shout out to Shiakun, who stopped by. Shout out to Tenchi. And shout out to Jay Shorn for kicking it with me tonight in the chat as well. I will see you all Friday night, 7 o'clock Pacific time, right back here at twitch.tv/DJ Switch PDX. And that's it for me. Have a great night, y'all.
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. And the science gets done and you make a neat gun for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me, tore me to pieces, and threw every piece into a fire. As they burned, it hurt because I was so happy for you. Now these points of data make a beautiful line, and we're out of beta, we're releasing on time. So I'm glad I got burned to think of all the things we've learned for the people who are still alive. at me still talking when there's science to do. When I look out there, it makes me glad I'm not you. I've experiments to run, there is research to be done on the people who are still alive. And believe me, I am still alive. And while you're dying, I'll be still alive. I feel fantastic and I'm still alive. And when you're dead, I will be still alive. Still alive.